My guest today is Anshul Sharma, CEO of GoldSoil Realty Investments. They've done 100 deals for 3 or 4 years in a row. Anshul holds an MBA in strategic leadership and marketing. He's a former product marketing program manager at Dell. He's crushing it. You can find him online at GoldSoil Realty Investments on Facebook. In this conversation, we talk about what it really takes to scale and business. We get into cold calling, some of the specific tactics around that, how to incentivize teams, and how to grow into something bigger than you think you can.
The Legends of Land Show with Brandon Parker. Deconstruct the tactics of world-class land investors and learn tools to build a seven-figure land business. The Legends of Land Show is starting now.
It's great to meet you.
Thank you, Brandon. I am excited to be here.
Yeah, it's great. It's just, that's a serious amount of deals. You're doing 100 deals a year, and you've done that for multiple years. You're obviously doing something impressive there. Just let's get into what it takes to scale a business to that level, what your operation looks like.
Man, scaling is a mindset game. Before you put all these pieces together, you have to make a commitment. I want to scale. And scaling can come in different ways. Hey, I want to scale in terms of, I want to do just one deal, but it got to be a really big deal, right? That's all I want to do in an entire year. I'm coming from a different background. I started as a wholesaler. For me to scale a business, meaning just doing more wholesale deals. And so I think, first of all, you have to come in terms with the idea, like why you want to scale. Because if you don't know why you want to scale, you wouldn't do it. And then you wouldn't be able to put all the pieces together because it's hard to scale. Had it been easy, everybody would have scaled and would like to scale and would have, done those kind of deals. It's hard to scale. So first of all, I gotta make a mindset why I want to scale. I have always been a top line guy. Hey, if you have done $2 million in revenue this year, how can you do 5 next year? How can you do 10? Why? Hey, it just brings more income to me, to my family, and to my team members. So first of all, it's like, hey, I want to scale. I want to make a commitment that I want to scale to increase my income, whatever that is, right? I want to create a brand, what I'm doing right now. And then comes all the operational pieces to it. My formula to scale is create a problem, because you're not going to scale until you create a problem. And what I mean by that is everybody asks, hey, what to scale? And I always say, hey, look, if you want to scale, you need more leads. Okay. You need more opportunities. If you're doing one deal, you rather have doing 10 deals in a month. How do you do that? You increase the activity level. Okay. You send more letters. You make more phone calls. Wherever that thing is, you need to increase that activity level. Okay. Otherwise, you will never be able to move forward from where you are today. Okay. So that's number one thing. That's where you need to start. If you want to scale, you need to know how many leads it takes to close a deal. And you say, hey, today it takes me 100 leads to close a deal. Okay, great. But you want to close 10 deals in a month. Now you know how many leads you have to approach, how many leads you have to call. Okay. Those many people you have to hire, right? I know we are living in an AI age, but hey, humans are not here to be replaced for some of those things. You got to hire people. Okay. And then you'd be like, man, who got to do all these comms? Of course, you need to hire people who can do some comms for you, maybe a land acquisitions manager, right? But create the problem first. If you're not going to create the problem of having more leads than you can handle, you wouldn't be able to figure out the other pieces down the street. So I will create the problem first and then go find the solution. Some people noodle too much, overanalyze what it takes to scale. And I'd say, hey, you know what? Create that filter at the top so big that you're almost in a panic situation. Like, oh my gosh, I sent this 50,000 letters. I don't even know what to do with. Create that problem. Go ahead and create that problem. Okay. You'll be sweating for the first month, second month, third month. By the third month, you have figured it out. You hire the right people. You know you can scale. You find the acquisitions manager who can do comms for you. You're going to find people that you know that you never realized that you need to fill when you increase your activity level. So go increase the activity level because that's in your hands. And then start figuring out pieces as you go downstream, right? So, hey, increase whatever you do. You do cold calling. You have one person cold calling, have 3 people cold calling. Okay. Some of these things you can anticipate. If somebody cold calls, you have a qualified lead, you need somebody to come. Now, if you want to be that guy, that's okay. But you can scale if you're doing comping and you're calling and all that kind of stuff, you need to find a person who can call for you.
Mhm.
Okay. Is it an easy skill to find? Absolutely not. But hey, if you want to scale, you need to start delegating, right? And you need to figure out where my time goes today. If your time goes comping, then probably you better hire somebody who can comp for you. Okay. So you solve for one bottleneck. Then you'll be like, man, I have so many properties to list on the market. How can I list on the market? Hey, you need to find a marketing manager. Have somebody who knows how to list properties on the market. Find that person. But create the problem first. Don't try to find solution that you don't even have a problem for. So that's where I started. That's how I started. I trained one person on my team. She can do comms. Guess what? All she was doing was comms. We were sending letters. She was doing comms. Before we know, we have these 25 properties under contract. I'm like, I need a transaction manager now. I got 25 properties. There's no way I can open escrow on these 25 properties all by myself. These are different states, different cities. Like I have to call different escrow manager. Okay, now we need a transaction manager. Okay. So there is a little bit of element of risk, leap of faith, and the mindset that I will figure it out. Everything could be figured out as we go down the line. So that was a long answer for your question, but that's pretty much how I started and I keep scaling. Right now we have 12 people who cold call. I did not start with 12 people. Do we have a problem? We have a big problem right now. We have more needs that we can look into, and we are we're trying to solve that problem with AI. If AI can read some of our seller conversation and give us a better read on what's going on in every call, right? But I created the problem first. I hired 12 guys. Hey, 12 guys, you're going to make work out for me. And they are qualifying like 6 to 7 to 5 leads every day. So we are getting like 50 to 70 leads in a day.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
When you were first going about, so first, I love the concept of just the human mind's an amazing thing. And if we put it under stress and it's got this problem, now we go to sleep thinking about it and our mind's working all night and like we're getting solutions when we demand it of ourselves. And I think that's a really cool concept. I mean, I haven't heard someone put it that way for the way to scaling, but yeah, it is a mindset thing. Like make your mind figure out a solution by putting it under stress, putting it on a deadline.
Yes.
And that's cool. So creating the problem, as you call it, is step one. So you create this problem and now you need to hire someone. Where did you go to hire those people? Like tactically, what are you doing to find that role and then train that role? And are you doing the same approach, like just get someone in there and figure it out? Or how's that happening?
Yeah, this is how we started. Like, hey, Leslie, do you think you can do comps for me? Yeah, boss. I mean, if you teach me, I will. Let's roll. Okay, that was like 5 years back.
Yeah.
Now we have very more sophisticated process. But going to your question, hey, who do you hire? Hey, if you can find somebody who has done comps for some other land investor, hey, steal them, whatever you need to do. Okay. And but if you can find that person, it's hard to find those people because good people are working for great bosses already. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, so I look for transferable skills. Okay, can somebody who has great computer understanding, have great understanding of math, is comfortable with technology, might have done a little bit of real estate in the past. Can you work with them for a couple of weeks and have them teach comps? Maybe you want to record these trainings. Okay. And then you hire the next person with similar skill set and have them go through all those trainings. And then before you know, now you have a system going on where every time you have to onboard this person or somebody leaves, you don't have to start over. You have recorded trainings. You know what kind of skill set really matches with somebody who can do comms. And there are plenty of people out there with that kind of matching skill set. But now if you're like fixated, man, I gotta find somebody who has done comms and land business for the last 3 years, otherwise I'm gonna have, you will have a hard time. Okay. And that's something that you have to be comfortable with. And some of this could be mitigated by a process, a training. We have a whole internal training going on for comms, right? Anybody join my team, I don't have to teach them comms. We have recorded training. We have somebody in the company who can show them comms, teach them comms, and all that kind of stuff. But you don't have to get that sophisticated on day one. If you're just starting out, okay, you have to be practical and you have to devote some time in really learning the business and having somebody teach it. I mean, there is no shortcuts here. I mean, people trying to do shortcuts here, right? If you can find somebody, hallelujah, hire right away. Great. So
There is no shortcuts, and it does land on its surface seems simple, and then the further you get into it, the more complicated it gets. And to some extent, it becomes growing a business the same as growing any other business. You are scaling, monitoring your cash flow, finding bottlenecks, eliminating the bottlenecks, and then continuing to press. And like you never feel like you get to a spot where it's like, oh, I figured it out. I got systems and it runs itself. That's there if you want to slow down. But for people who keep pressing, probably like yourself, you probably have problems right now that feel like when you first started, you're just going harder.
Absolutely. Yeah. Land is not one of the most scalable business. It's not a repeatable business. Every time you have a new buyer and you have a new seller
Mhm.
and you have a new property, there is nothing repeatable about this whole thing, right?
Mhm.
For the most part, that makes it hard to scale versus if you have some other kind of other business, like, hey, I'm in the business of selling laptops. Okay. It's the same laptop you sell over and over and over again. Your product, at least your product is not changing. In that case,
Mhm.
we are looking at a new property with a new seller, trying to sell it to a new buyer every single time. We have to repeat that cycle. So yeah, that makes land, I would say, hard to scale as a business, for sure. But the margins, I think, are decent enough for you to kind of take that pain.
When you sell 100 properties in a year, what type of target margins are you looking at?
Last year, we had a gross profit of around $30,000 per deal. That's the gross profit.
Are you targeting a narrow range of like, what do your filters look like? What type of properties you filter in types of deals?
We pretty much look at anything. What I really don't do much is infill lots.
Mhm.
I like to do more unrestricted properties, mobile home friendly, outside of big cities, maybe an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour outside of big metros. You call it Nashville, Dallas, and Atlanta's kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what we do. I have an infill lot. We still do infill lots, but that's the kind of property. So you can imagine 1 acre, a 5 acre, 50 acre, 100 acre, unrestricted by a county road, private road, farm to market, on a highway, that kind of stuff. Pretty straightforward.
I'm interested with the cold calling since I do cold calling myself. What dialer are you using? And yeah, I guess that would be the first question. And like, what type of any interesting thing that you have in the script that you think works real nice or
Yeah. So going to your first question, we tried Mojo. It's okay, but my agents reported a lot of connection problems. Voice quality is not that great. We switched over to Ready Mode. We found better voice quality, better just kind of connection rate in general, the better how it rotate your numbers and connecting with sellers. So overall, we improved our cold calling quality just switching over to Ready Mode. And matter of fact, our agents are able to qualify more leads, just the way it kind of helps you connect or have more dials in a day per agent.
Mhm. Yeah, agreed. We were with call tools and went over to ready mode and things started working better. And one drawback that I see with ready mode, it's minor, but they don't have good APIs for connecting to like outside AI and things like that. Like we want to do some things where we start pulling in transcripts to and then going through. I think you were talking about that. Go through the transcripts and
Yeah.
qualify or rate leads, but it's like
Mhm.
you can't plug into ready mode and say, okay, so we're looking to test with a small batches, a couple other dialers that have better back-end connections so that we can start integrating AI because that seems like there's some low-hanging fruit there.
Yeah. 100%. Right now, we are doing that manually. This is a very meaty conversation because right now we are downloading every single conversation manually and having it run through our custom API to listen into these calls and just kind of understand the motivation level, how our agents are doing. We have started ranking our agents on the performance on the call. So I agree with you. It would be really nice if Ready Mode can come with an API where we can just take that piece and run it through GPT or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you can just get someone to download those and push them through human API. Yeah.
Exactly what we do right now. Yep.
And the other big benefit there is, yeah, the QA, because right now we pop in and we QA just randomly and as much as we can. But if we could QA every single call and then start looking for patterns,
Absolutely.
that's a much different thing. So I think that cold calling, we're just a couple months out from getting some sort of solution. But I think cold calling in general, the teams who are able to do what you're doing there are going to start getting a lot more effective. So what do you look for when you qualify a lead? So you got a cold call lead that comes in. How are you thinking about which ones are worth talking to?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's kind of work in progress. We have a motivation score.
Mhm.
And we have custom that thing in the back end, what we're reading off of the conversation between the seller and one of our land intake managers. And we're looking for those keyword sentiment analysis, and we're ranking them on a scale of 1 to 10. So anything that we say, hey, go past 7, guess what? It goes to our acquisitions team. They're making an offer and calling within 2 to 4 hours of doing it. Matter of fact, a couple of days back, I posted something, a lead came into the system at a motivation level 9 and got caught. And guess what? By next day morning, we had that thing under contract, spent 100K. I mean, we are qualifying 60 to 70 leads. It was highly likely that we would have not had a motivation score. That lead would have been kind of, may not be attending the first day, maybe next couple of days, whatever. But hey, the opportunity was right there and we were able to look into it. So those are the things that we find tuning into, are saying, hey, how can we find that opportunity now and not 2 days from now, right? Because guess what? If they're motivated, they're calling 5 more people. They want to get this thing done.
Mm-hmm. What's an example of like a sentiment analysis? Like what are keywords that you look for? Are you tactically doing that?
All kinds of stuff. I mean, some is from experience, what sellers say, that kind of we can figure out they're motivated, but some are very obvious. I I broke this. I'm in a hospital. My wife is in a hospital. We are in a situation. So stuff like that is pretty obvious to capture. But then we also matching what they think they want to get for the property, and then what we can offer. And if that is in a very close neighborhood, that's why we're making a phone call pretty quick. Say, hey, we want to offer 7,000. They're asking 8,500, 9,000. They're probably a deal here. We can probably meet somewhere in the middle and get this done. So it's various things: price, where they are, what kind of situation they are in, the words that they say. I'm not interested. Or, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'll be more than happy to look into an offer. It gotta be a great offer. But if it is, we probably can, ready to move forward. Okay, all right. That's a lead that we want to quickly look into and kind of get an offer going, because if we can meet at a price, they're likely to sign the contract sooner than later. So those are the things that we are working on right now.
And when you say price and knowing if that's reasonable or close or not, does that mean that you're pricing these properties? Are you doing like blind offer and you have a price range and then you know when you're talking to them, or what's that?
No, it's after the fact. So once we ask for a price and they give us a price, whatever, then it goes to a person who comps this. And if they see a matching price or close enough price, then we kind of make it a priority with our acquisitions team to pick the phone, go back to the seller, and close the deal.
Okay.
I'm not making blind offers. We're just taking one lead at a time, and we calm them right that second or same day or early next day.
Okay. So it's almost like you have two prongs of qualification. One, you're pushing it through an AI filter. You're looking for some sort of keywords, sentiment
Correct.
analysis. And then two, if there's a price in there, it's getting routed to a comp person who is checking that price, or are you
Yes.
comping every single one?
We comping every single one, but as soon as we find the prices in close neighborhood, we taking that on priority and asking the land acquisitions manager to make a phone call and get this done. So
Here.
yeah, it's still a work in progress thing. Every day there we are making some fine tuning the system, but that's what we find working for us. We were actually an appointment company where we were trying to put people on appointment, like, hey, my acquisitions manager will call you tomorrow at 2 p.m. How does that sound? I mean, it was nice, but it wasn't really practical. They don't care about appointments, right?
Mhm.
So it's just over to motivation score. If you're motivated, guess what? I'm giving you a call back in next 2 to 4 hours with a solid offer to get you into contract.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I found that too. It's like people don't use their Google calendars in the regular world, but so yeah, it's like we're all on Slack and Google Calendar driven, but you give it to a land seller and they're like, I don't have Google Calendar. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a different audience.
Yeah. That's interesting. I'm trying to crack the same nut. That's why I have so many questions around it. We did the calendar booking. We have qualified and we landed somewhere similar to you. We've qualified with, we call them and then we qualify them on motivation, like you're saying, but with a human and with pricing. So similar thing, we have an idea. And if they're in the ballpark on price, or if there's some sort of key motivation, like, oh, my son moved out of town, we don't go to the property anymore, that type of thing. Those seem to be the key indicators. And it's almost like first we were going on price as the filter, and there was like holes in that. Then we were going on motivation,
Right.
like you're talking about, but then there's holes in that. And then so we started doing motivation and price. And now I'm starting to think about it almost like looking at it to disqualify people as opposed to focusing so hard on qualifying them. Because with cold car, there becomes a lot of tire kickers. And it's like, okay, what if we just now eliminate tire kickers? Yeah.
Agree, agree. And the way I'm thinking about it, it's not like even like elimination. Hey, look, you might not be ready today, but I want to keep the doors open. Can I send you something? Can I send you something about our company? So when you are ready from 10 years from now, and a year from now, you should be remembering that we should be your preferred choice. You should not be, that Anshul called. He provided all this booklet to me, looking nice. Everything is like buttoned up. I want to call this guy first. If
Mm.
they don't want to buy it, then I can go to Brendan or I can go to Mark or whoever, right? So we want to be that company, like, okay, not today, but I want to be in front and center. I want to be with you. So whenever you're ready, we can take it from there.
Yeah. So do you do that by mailing them a packet or by
Yep.
sending them an email, text? What's that look like?
Whatever they prefer. Our audience love to have mails. Oh yeah, send me that packet. I would love to
Mhm,
have something sitting in my living room. I don't mind that, please. Okay,
mhm,
sure. Here goes the packet. Keep it.
mhm. And what's that packet look like? Like, how are you delivering value that they're going to kind of keep that around?
I mean, what kind of business we have done? Maybe a case study.
Mhm,
This is a family property. This is inheritance. I don't want to get rid of it. Hey, maybe a case study, how we help the family who have been holding on to this thing for 100 years and now they're happy having cash in the pocket. You don't have to make
mhm,
a decision today. Hey, we have worked with 15 different tile companies. Yeah,
mhm,
the people. Make a phone call. All that kind of stuff. Why do you want to sell your property? What else can you do once you sell it? What you can do with that money? Okay. Whatever value you can add, why we are the best, why you want to consider us. We might not be the highest cash offer, but we are the one who's going to take you to the finish line.
mhm, mhm.
I mean, testimonials. So
Yeah. And what do you think of the like nurture sequences as far as text, email, follow-up calls in the future? How much time do you put into that? And what do you think?
we are literally working on that stuff right now. That's
Okay.
a big project for us going into quarter two, how we can smartly sequence all this stuff. Because I think where we are going, Brandon, with this whole land thing and wholesaling thing, it will become a very deep relationship game. And
Mhm,
the better hooks you have with the seller in terms of providing value before you ask for a sale, the better off you will be in the market. I mean, they're going to call you if you have provided all that great value, like right off the gate. They're not going to go online. They're not going to call a realtor. They're going to call you for sure.
mhm, mhm,
And hey, honey, call Brandon first. Let's see I mean, if those guys not interested, then we can always call a realtor or call somebody else. But let's call Brandon first. Let's see what they got.
And with technology going the way it is, do you think that's what's going to drive the relationship part of it? It's like there's so much AI and computer stuff and automations happening that we're going to have like barbell. People are going to really appreciate the personal relationship. Or why do you think that?
I think, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think with the land business, given the kind of audience we have, I think AI will be more behind the scene,
Mhm,
and we still got to keep the relationship very like human touch, right?
mhm,
Not gonna push them online if they want to see a letter or a packet in the mail.
mhm,
I'm going with what they are comfortable with, what their preferred choice is. But in the back end, I can use technology and have a custom letter written to them based on the conversation, right? I had a great conversation with you. You're not interested, but how can I use AI to capture that conversation, write a custom letter based on that conversation and send it out to the seller? They feel like, oh man, yeah, that's the conversation we had. This guy took time to write this whole damn letter, 3 page letter on exactly what we talked about. They cared. They were listening to me. They were making some notes.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a really good one. Oh, what are you using like as your tech stack? Are you CRM and then yeah, what other technology tools are you using?
We kind of fragmented kind of stuff. I would like to consolidate and collapse a couple of these tools, but we're using Salesforce as a deal management. We are on follow-up pause when it comes to follow-up calls, ready mode for the first time cold calling kind of stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Salesforce kind of helps put some DocuSign or just one of those tools embedded inside the thing. So we kind of send our contracts using Salesforce now,
Yeah.
but it's all embedded. But yeah, that would be my technology stack. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, seems right on target. That's nice. Are you thinking, is there a letter sending service, or is that something that you're thinking of building in-house, or is there somewhere that you can send formatted letters and addresses to that'll do that for you if you like? How
I
are you
have
thinking about that tech stack or getting that done?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I have heard that there are services like that. Right now, we have an on-site manager who prints it out, send it. It's very in-house right now. But
Mhm.
I can see using a service who can just take my letters and just send it out. That would be nice.
Yeah, there's like rocket people use Rocket Print for all kinds of stuff. It's like there's going to be so many of these connections on the back end with technology and things like that happening because everyone's trying to build as fast as they can to keep up. So, um, yeah, that's a really cool one. I like that one, Anshul. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what's your conversion rate with cold calls? If you get 100 warm leads that come in, how, or 5,000, how many do you turn into a deal? Do you think?
I wouldn't have a great answer for you on that. Maybe in 6 months from now, I'm gonna have an answer. But because the reason is we are changing counties, we are changing dialers, we are changing. There's a lot of flux to give you a great answer on that.
Yeah.
What we're really trying to do, like, stay at 5% of all the contracts we send out. And because with cold calling, there's a lot of time to waste. Like back in the days where we used to send mail, it used to be like 10%, 7% conversion. We send out 100 contract, we get 5, 7 to 10 back. I don't see that conversion right now. Maybe somebody is getting, but it really depends what your definition of qualified is, right? That's another thing we kind of moving away from. What's a qualified lead? Okay. And we are more leading towards like, what's the motivation level?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're really trying to get to, how many leads do we get every day which have a motivation level 7 and up?
Hmm.
Okay. I can think of a 10% conversion on those guys, maybe 10% conversion. If I'm getting motivation between 5 to 7, maybe 5%. If I'm getting everything below 5, man, maybe 1 or 2% is the conversion at best, right? So that's what we are doing. And we are in a flux right now because AI just came in and we just implementing and fine tuning all of that in the back end. But this is how I'm looking at business right now and how I want to run the business. So
Hmm.
is lead qualified? Maybe some leads are more qualified than others.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a yes or no answer. Is the lead qualified? I would be like, hey, how much is the lead motivated to do this thing? Right? Whatever your motivation level is. And that's how we are engaging when these leads come in now.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that you're qualifying them like that and kind of getting to the specific ones really fast. Um, what we're doing with the price and motivation, I think it sounds like we're possibly similar. It's almost like if we have 100 leads come in,
Mhm.
probably 15 of them are worth, well, quick follow up, like talk to them now.
Yeah. Mhm.
It sounds like maybe the same range. And so 85 of them are like you're saying, we need a way to keep in contact with them over time, nurture sequence type of thing.
Yeah.
But same thing, it's like we change our tools and markets and we're tweaking things so much that it's like to say like a number, it's like, well, that's going to change because we've changed every single variable in the last 3 months. So,
Yes. And that's what we are going through right now. We are changing so many things that to get to a number and say, hey, my conversion rate is 5%. I don't know at this point in time.
yeah.
Are we represent the contract? Yes. Is it worth our money? Yes. But we are in a flux right now. How we look at business, how we go about this. But one thing that I really learned pretty fast, we are in a more relationship business. Gone on the like, you know what? I'm not gonna even call you back. I mean, you should call them back. If they called you one time, you should call them back. Send them a package, send them something, build that relationship. It will go a long way. Like you need to start planting those seeds because as the competition get higher, guess what? The person who has the best relationship is getting the deal.
Yeah, that's why that letter idea that you have is so sharp because they're getting a personalized letter for you that'll sit in their desk drawer or wherever with their mail for a year. I've heard stories of people picking up a letter out of a stack of papers 5 years later and calling.
Right?
So, yeah, put those feelers out there. Do you think that's like 80/20? The biggest thing you can do for a nurture sequence is build some sort of unique relationship where you've sent them something special, like something physical, a letter or a packet that sits with them. Do you think that's kind of the lowest hanging fruit? Is there anything else like that?
I mean, yeah, nothing beats you calling them 3 months, 6 months. Letter is one thing. Yeah, I sent you that letter. You asked me to call 12 months. Here I am, right? And it all comes down to technology, how your processes and your technology is all lined up. right? I would send a letter, keep the doors open, maybe call in 6 months, be that guy, and just keep doing it. I think it's human connection. The more times you can be in front and center and add value. Do not be like, hey, I called you, I'm calling in 4 months, are you ready to sell this thing? I would be like, hey, man, had a conversation 4 months back. I'm not sure if anything changed. Can I be of any help?
Mhm.
You don't have to
Mhm.
sell it today. You don't have to sell 10 years from now. Could I be of any help with that property that you have? Even if you need a car, more than happy to. If you need a connection with a tile company, I don't know whatever you need. Let me know. I'm a land guy. I can help you with that stuff. That's it. Right. And just move on. If they're interested, they'll tell you.
Mhm. How much you getting on the phone yourself with so much going on in your business?
Hey, I'm negotiating a subdivide deal right now.
Nice. Nice.
I do. I do. I take some appointments, let's just say on my calendar here and there.
Mhm.
Uh, I do. Last year, I think last quarter, I've been on the phone quite a bit just to kind of understand the audience because our sellers are changing, man. Like every 6 months, the market is changing. So you want to have a feel of like where the market is. So once you get on the phone, you kind of know what sellers are thinking, what they want for their property, have things changed, what they think about the market. Are you in the right market? Maybe you want to be in a different market depending on how sellers are talking about their property. I want $2 million. Okay, understood. Right. And if you're getting way too often, maybe you want to be in a different market because people have totally different perception of what their properties are worth. Maybe that market is being overdone, whatever the case is. So yeah, I like to hop on the phone and negotiate and call seller myself.
Mhm. Yeah, and as a CEO, I like this concept of zooming in all the way boots on the ground to each little part, just like almost like a surprise in the company. It's like, okay,
Yes.
this month I come in and I'm looking at how we do comping and I just show up in the meeting and I'm like, okay, show me how you're comping and then watch every single part and like, okay, it's like you get in touch with that part and you have ideas and you're the guy, so you know. And then you
Yes.
same thing with calls. Okay, now I'm actually on the phone. Now I know what's happening. And zooming into each department, just getting your hands dirty, I think is important for people who are thinking about this is something to come across when people want to scale their land business. They want to just outsource. It's like, okay, I want to hire a comper, I want to hire an acquisitions manager. They just do it. It's like you still have to do it. You still got to get in there and get your hands really dirty and then fix it. And then
Yeah.
you can go away for like a month, but you can never just go away forever, So
I mean, find a leader in your company, delegate it, have them, but be an advisor. Right now, I call myself an advisor.
mhm,
When I run the comms meeting, so we have workshop for everything every week. We
okay.
spend 2 hours every week, and we call it comms workshop. Okay, my lead comms person come in, and we pick 5 or 4 or 3 properties that we go over in detail.
Mm,
Okay, he runs the show. I'm there as an advisor. If I feel I can add value, I add value to it. Otherwise, they got it. Okay, there are days I can't attend. They are running this thing. Same goes with role play. Every morning, we hop on a 45-minute role play. This is how we start our day. 8:30 role play. Okay. And those are the meetings I'm really plugged into. One, I get to know what sellers are thinking because my guys come in, man, all the calls I had yesterday, everybody was asking like really outrageous price. Okay, good to know. Right? Maybe we need to look into our data. Maybe we are in the wrong county. Maybe we need to switch things over. Or, man, I'm getting this objection over and over again. I don't know how to overcome it. Okay, let's role play.
mhm.
So I role play a lot, and that helps me also get in tune with the market and all that kind of stuff. So that 45 minutes in the morning, I feel is worth spending with your acquisitions manager, whoever is going on the phone and negotiating these deals for you.
That's a really good tip. That's probably a lot more than most people do. That's more than I do for sure. When you're role playing, tactically, how are you doing that? Are you role playing an entire conversation? Are you role playing just like an objection multiple times? How are you approaching that?
Yeah, so we have a sales process. Sometimes we just role play the entire sales process. We have
Mhm.
steps how to close a deal. So if somebody wants to like just like a new person just coming onto the team, okay, we're gonna role play the whole thing. But if somebody's just stuck in that one situation, okay, let's talk about it. Hit me with that objection. I'll be the buyer, you are the seller, let's do it. And then we just take that piece and then we just role play it.
Okay. And what's your thought on scripts? How close do you stick with them? Are you kind of like a chunk it out and free flow, or are you like a follow the script type person?
Yeah, we are not anti-script, but there is nothing called script in a company. We call them frameworks.
Okay.
Okay. It's not a script. You do not have to read it from a script at all. You can make it your own, but there are certain key pieces in a conversation that need to happen and maybe in a certain sequence. How you deliver it is on your personality. Because if you put them in a script, one, they sound robotic, they won't be their natural self, and you don't want to do it. So we have a framework instead. Hey, these are 14 things that you want to hit on your conversation with a seller. Okay. You need to have a great reading. You need to have to build credibility. You have to do objection. You have to do fact finding. You have to figure out the dominant selling motive. You have to do a little bit of demo about the company. You have to do a trial close. You have to do negotiation. Then you have to do close. And then you have to do a follow up and then a service walk. Okay. All right. As long as you're going through this framework in a certain sequence, you're good. You don't have to say the same thing the way I say it. Your reading might be different from mine. I like to say, hey, Brent, this is Anshul from GoldSoil Realty. The reason for my call is you had an amazing conversation with my land intake manager. I want to pick that conversation back up. I got an amazing offer for you and this kind of roll into it. Somebody wants to do it differently. Hey, this is Brandon, right? I'm calling from da 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 da. I hope you got 2 minutes for me. I have something really good to discuss with you. Everybody have their own style, but you need to go through a framework. But here's the thing: if you do not have a framework, you do not have a process, you cannot teach people how to negotiate.
Mhm.
If everybody is doing their own thing, how do you teach people how to negotiate? Where are they in the sales cycle? You need to know, where are you in the sales cycle? Are you in fact finding or are you about to close this thing? Where are you? So I can help you get to the finish line. Because sales is tricky in itself. Negotiation is tricky in itself. You got to have a process. You got to have a framework. And then you have a common lingo to talk to your guys. Hey, where you are in the sales process so I can help you. Man, I'm still in the fact finding. I'm still trying to figure it out. Why they want to sell the property and why now. Okay, all right. And then pick it from there. So I'm not sure if I really answer your question, but this is what we do. We have a framework and there are key components to it. And we make sure as we go through the call with the seller, we are touching all those key components before we have a close.
Mhm. And how many acquisitions managers do you have to handle 12 cold callers?
Right now we have 4.
Okay.
Yes.
And I've heard so many different ideas on compensation structures. Like, how do you think about acquisitions managers? Do they need to be US based? Can they be South America? Can they be just offshored? Um, what is the compensation structure? And yeah, how do you think about all that?
That could be a podcast in itself. Yeah. Here's my short answer. Closing is a mindset game. It got nothing to do what part of the world you belong to.
Mhm.
Period. End of the story. I had killer closers overseas. Okay. And I have great closers here in the US. And the common thread between all of them, they have a clear mindset and they know how to close.
Mhm.
Okay. As long as you have that kind of mindset and attitude, it doesn't matter. 2 things you need to have. You need to have a mindset and you need to provide value on the phone. And you could be anybody closing any deal sitting anywhere in the world. Okay. Like when you get on the phone, you need to know how you can add value to the conversation. Because if you are repetitive, if you're saying the same thing, you're not adding value. So regardless, whoever you are, you're going to lose the deal. If you do not know how to handle objections, I don't care what part of the states you are, what kind of accent you have, it can matter. You're not able to handle the objection of the seller. You don't even know how to respond to it. You're going to lose the deal. Versus somebody who know how to handle objection, who know how to add value, will win that contract. Doesn't matter what action they are coming from. It doesn't matter. So my answer to that is it's a mindset game, and then how you are adding value, and then of course it's a skill set. Sales is a skill set. Closing is a skill set. So either you have it or you can learn it. It's not like so much dependent on like your accent or where you go from. So that's my answer to that question.
I think that's a common misperception. I get that question all the time about cold callers as well. And my
Yes.
answer is it's with cold calling, I want to be able to hear them smiling through the phone. I want to be able to feel that they like their job, they're interested in the conversation, and we're just it's a human. that you're talking to, and you can feel a lot more on the phone than people think through the intonation of the voice and all that. And so it's all about culture and if they like their job and if they're into
Yes.
the conversation. And that's what converts leads. You could have someone sitting in California
Yep.
who's from, who went to UC Irvine,
Yep.
but they're cold calling and they hate it. And they're going to get crushed by someone in the Philippines who really likes their job, loves where they work. So,
If
yeah.
you don't know what to say, if people say, I'm not interested, doesn't matter who you are.
Yep.
If you don't know how to handle that objection, you're going to lose the deal regardless,
Mhm.
period. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And do you think that there's incentive in giving? Is it worth giving bonus incentives for like deal value and things like that for acquisitions manager? You think there's enough incentive there, or do you think it just muddies the water? Like, what do you think of compensation?
We have base and we have commission percentage based off of the gross profit on that deal. If that's your question. Yeah.
So do you wait for it to close?
Yes.
You wait for it to close, you look for the gross profit and then go
Yes.
from there. Okay. Okay.
That's been like expectations has been set. It's not the time when you put it in the contract, it's the time when we sell, because that's the only time when company makes money. So
Mhm.
I get paid when I sell properties, not when I put them on the contract.
Yeah. How do you think about getting them to negotiate the last $5,000? It's $100,000 deal, and the seller will sell it for 105,000, but you could probably get it for 100,000, but whatever, it's worth 160. How do you
Okay.
get your acquisitions manager incentivized for that last 5 grand? The question centers around, if I'm an acquisitions manager, let's say I make 10%, and if I can close it right now and get a $60,000 profit and I get $6,000 right now, or I can negotiate an extra day and I can get a $6,500 profit and I could get $650 tomorrow. I'll take the $600 a day, if that makes sense.
I mean, they should negotiate for the best price they can negotiate. They can wait. You bring it back at the lowest price possible.
Yeah, of course, of course. I'm just wondering if there's any like little tricks. It's just something I think about, if there's any tricks to incentivize that, because like for example, a real estate agent, real estate agents will sell your house for 50 grand less. They're going to get their commission, and they don't necessarily care about that little bit of extra profit they could have got the buyer, if that makes sense.
My guys do. They want every
Good.
piece of the money.
They
So
like you. Yeah.
yeah, that's what they're getting trained on, man. Get it at the best price. If it takes a day, it takes a day. Do your thing. Do not give away the price. So they are being trained on the fact that you do not lose or win deals on prices. We don't talk price. Our negotiation is not price. We
Okay.
don't even speak about price in the whole conversation with the seller. It got nothing to do with price. We have trained them. I've trained them differently. Price got nothing to do you putting the property in the contract or not. So get
Mhm.
away from the price stigma that, hey, man, it's the price, it's not the price. You add value, right? And they will sign the contract. People sign contract for lower price than what they're getting from other companies because you added value. You show them the way. You tell them how we're going to close the deal. You add some, like you tell them that we have been doing this for 10 years. They will come with you versus somebody who doesn't even know how to negotiate and just throwing the higher price. So price is the last thing that we talk to seller. And that's the whole sales process. That's the negotiation game. So, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but like we are not so much just about price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talking about adding value, some of the value you're adding is, this is a really professional company. So the surety that they're going to get the deal done, money's going to land in their bank account. And then you're walking them through the process. So it's like some education value.
Yes.
What other ways do you think about adding value?
We are very honest. We say, hey, look, I can put any price on the contract you want, but do not expect me to come close in 90 days.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
That's what other companies do. If you want me to do the same thing, more than happy to. No problem.
Mhm.
But if you expect me to close this deal in 60 days or less, that's the price that will work. And that price, by the way, is better than 30% than any other wholesaler, investor, or realtor will bring you in the next 60 days.
Mhm. Mhm.
Price is yours. You can make that choice.
Mhm.
Okay. There will be somebody who will call you after my call ends and say, hey, I can give you more. And you can trust them, but they're not going to come to the finish line. It's not even possible to put the property at that price and make it money. I mean, it's just not possible. You can try. And people have called us back. Hey, man, I was with this realtor 6 months. The property didn't sell. I'm ready to do business with you guys. Sure. Our doors are open. Let's do it. Right. So we make them realize the reality, beginning of the process. This is how you're going to roll. Okay. And we are more like, hey, I'm going to give you information and you make an informed decision.
Mhm. So educating.
Yeah, education. I gonna, yeah, rather than fighting on price, we're gonna figure out the price. This is what we say. Don't worry about the price
Yeah.
of the last thing that we do not do this deal today.
Mhm.
Take care of the price.
A lot of what you do is a bigger picture mindset, like almost first principle mindsets than getting into those smaller things,
Yeah.
which is cool. What do you think this year holds for land investing in general? What are the big story arcs, predictions? Like, what do you see happening?
Man, I'm not a prediction guy, so probably not the best question for me. I know one thing that the more professional we get about this business, the better our chances to keep going in this business. And being professional means how can we add more value? Okay, how can we train our teams better so when they get on the phone, they provide the highest value? That's what I know. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm not prediction. I don't know where the market is going. I'm gonna adjust as the market goes. You know, where margins are going, I have no clue. But I'm gonna train my team to be the best. And I think that will take care of any kind of minutia or whatever we're gonna go through for the rest of the year. I just want to make sure that we are the best in the competition.
Mhm. Yeah, you've got this underlying theme. It's like your whole philosophy is very human based. Get good people, teach them, treat them good, treat the sellers good, add value. Everything else follows behind that, it feels like.
Yeah, because I cannot predict the market. I don't know where this thing is going.
Mhm.
So it's out of my control. I'm very receptive to the market. I'm not blindsided. I keep my eyes and ears open, but I don't know where the market is going. But what is in my hand to get professional and serious about this business, if you want to continue to do this business, for how long we want to do this thing.
You have I think you have an MBA in strategic leadership and marketing strategy.
Sure.
Uh, it feels like that plays into a lot of what you're doing here. Have you started other businesses, or what other things that you've done previously that paved the way for where you're at in land, you think?
A lot of has to do with my corporate background. I'm coming from who's been in corporate, looking at those businesses, how they run, how they think about numbers, how they think about quality, how they make decisions. A lot of decision making on my side is influenced from what I've learned just working with Fortune 100 companies in the world, right?
Mhm.
They're thinking about scaling. They're thinking about top line. Every great company has a great sales team. They have the top guys. Okay.
Mhm.
They never let the sales team go. If they let the sales team go, how are they going to make money? Right. So all these concepts, right? Hey, I'm going to outsource my salespeople or like, there's some key components that you have to have in your company in order to keep the company going. That's why I have a dispo team. I don't want to be just relied on realtors, right, to sell my properties. If I'm doing 120 properties in a year, I need to have my own dispo team. I need to have people who know how to push all these properties in the marketplace. I cannot be dependent on some external party to move my business. So I think maybe I'm kind of jaded at this time because that's all I know. That's how those big companies run. So I think no value in this kind of put into my company.
It's beautiful. Well, you've grown an amazing company and 100 deals for 3 or 4 years straight, 100 deals plus. So you talked about top line goals. What are your top line goals for 2025?
10 mil in revenue, top line sales, uh, in wholesale. We have started to do some subdivide stuff. We have two amazing properties under contract. I'm going to put on the third one in the second month of 2025. I think we can do 10, maybe 5 mil in revenue from subdivide. Maybe we can do 10 mil in subdivides. These are quick subdivides, right? So yeah, that's a goal. It's a pretty audacious goal when it comes to subdivide. I think we can do definitely on the wholesale side, but when it comes to subdivide, probably pretty audacious. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm that guy. We just throw a number out there and say, hey, can we do it? And see, kind of go from there.
Well, it's got you this far, and what an exciting conversation. I would love to have you back 6 months from now or next year and talk to you after you do something and grow that big because it's amazing.
And well,
What are your final thoughts? Like any final thoughts for people listening to this as we start to round it up, or anything that we kind of glossed over you want to hit on a little bit more?
um, I don't know, man. People have different goals, right? But I would say that land business is shifting. It's changing every 6 months. If you've been here for a couple of years, you know what I'm talking about. If you're just getting into the land flipping market this year, we are getting more sophisticated. So if you're coming in, just be serious about this thing. It's not the same land business that it used to be. I've never run my business like on a side hobby, so which is a good thing. But I see people coming in. So that would be a suggestion. Just be professional from day one. Think about adding value. Think about scaling. Yeah. So that would be my piece of advice here. Always think about the goal. Hey, put a goal in place, 500,000, million, whatever you want to do, and just kind of put everything in place accordingly, and you'll get there.
Awesome. Where can people find you online, Anshul? What's the best way?
Facebook, Instagram, the land dude is my Instagram handle. You can hit me up there. You can DM me on Facebook.
All right. Well, wonderful to have you on the show today. You're a legend. It was a pleasure to get to talk to you for this long, and can't wait till next time.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Bye.
The Legends of Land Show.